Hey guys, welcome back to another coaching session where myself and speedrunners review your gameplay and break down the run both good and bad. Today we have a Longsword user and friend, Alcoholic, trying his hand at a TA Wiki Fatalis. For those who are unfamiliar with the rule set, TA Wiki means that players are prohibited from a large number of items, including palicos, mantles, and flinch shots. Since this is a practice run, we'll be seeing carts, but aside from that, we hopefully won't be running into any rule breaks. We will be diving into all the nitpicks and details so that Alco can be fully aware and work on improving each point in his own time. Joining me today is a Monster Hunter speedrunner who streams TA Wiki practice runs, as well as having over 5,000 Fatalis kills, Kiza. Starting from the pre-fight setup, we already noticed a habit that Alco here is not picking up. If we take a look, we will notice that he is not using the radio menu, which would save him a lot of time so he can use the item while running to the hitching post rather than using it at the edge of the platform. Another strategy that they can do is have the items placed strategically right at the start or the end, so they can scroll to the item without much effort. Additionally, you'll notice the player also uses a might pill and adamant pill. This is a significant time loss and a waste of resources, as each of the items lasts 20 seconds, which is just around how long it takes for a character to glide down into the Fatalis arena. If you were to use any item at this point in time, you would be probably using a might seed instead. So far so good with the longsword mechanics. As a longsword, your first priority should be getting the red sword gauge as soon as possible, preferably within the first few attacks. Now that he is a red sword, we'll want to see an enrage. Normally, this will be done via a wallbang, but TA Wiki rules prohibit this, so we will actually be going for their variation, which is 4 slaps, and preferably only the first hit of the tenderizing attack in order to save on purple sharpness. This combination will enrage and tenderize the head in one go. However, this is our first big mistake in the run, as Alco attempts to go for an extremely unsafe Spirit Helmbreaker on an unenraged and untenderized head for a moderate amount of damage on a non-guaranteed opening. So here, I want to pause and annotate this video a little bit. The reason you missed the foresight slash here, while you can chalk it up to a bad RNG, can actually also be attributed towards foresight positioning. In this situation here, the foresight slash moved you slightly towards the right, whereas a left foresight slash would have brought you closer towards the body, and you can then round slash towards the closer arm. Yeah, so this enrage should have happened around 1 minute ago when you had red gauge, and you also hesitated on the tenderized attack, so you weren't able to tenderize the head. But now that he is enraged and you're a red sword gauge, you will be benefiting the most via EI Spirit Slash, Spirit Helmbreakers, or a combination of the two. On this zigzag breath here, you are slightly late to the Spirit Helmbreaker you attempted. You are looking to hit the left arm as it is being placed down, so you arrive right on time for a Spirit Helmbreaker on the head as Fatalis completes the animation. A habit that both Kiza and I picked up is your tendency to aim your foresight slash and round slash away from the chest. This would have put you into a worse position in many cases, such as in this one where you ended up behind Fatalis instead. At this part here, Kiza and I felt like you were spending a lot of time running around. If you're on full Frostcraft gauge, you can instead spend some time running around performing a draw attack, and then use a singular thrust into a combo into foresight slash and get red gauge again. If you're a bit more aggressive with your foresights and a bit more disciplined with your Spirit Helmbreakers, you would have finished phase 1 much faster, since you would have red gauge for the Spirit Helmbreaker for the cone, or red ISS for attacks like the Eye Fire. Since this is a TA Wiki, Alco would not be able to use any binders or roaming ballistas, and he would be going for the Dragonator platform instead. Dodge, dodge, and there's the cart. Now, here's why people think that TA Wiki is very copium, as single carts forfeit your run. Since this is a practice run, we're going to keep watching and see how you recover from a cart. Your first priority at this point is to recover red sword gauge as soon as possible. Well, that clutch claw was a little bit poorly timed in addition to your longsword priorities. Again, focus on getting red, not the enrage. Wow, that was fucked up. I would have rage quit and mumbled something about dumb movesets and hitboxes. So here, Kiza wanted to make a small nitpick with your foresight slashes. He noticed that you hit a lot of white numbers on the returning stroke. Since you're in range of the chest, you should aim to have the returning slash hit the chest for maximum damage, and of course the head if the animation allows for it as well. What I find very concerning here is that you aren't sheeting enough to make full use of Frostcraft. You're running around looking for a clear opening to go in. But a clear opening would mean you also have time to do a draw slash. So you're better off sheeting a weapon instead of running around on low Frostcraft gauge. Otherwise, I would do a thrust followed by special sheath to prepare a counter so that you can recover some Frostcraft as well. This moment here is a very important tip for longswords in particular. In Phase 2, Fatalis will change stances from 2 legs to 4 legs when using certain attacks, such as the Dragon Charge attack. It is your cue to use a special sheath, as Fatalis turns around here so you are prepared to ISS the upcoming bite attacks. This bite attack animation that Alko is about to counter here is a very clear window for a variety of punishes. Large windup means that this is a slow bite, and if Alko was sheathed here, he would have had a clear window for an ISS and potentially a Spear Helmbreaker if he is feeling extra spicy. Since he was not sheathed, he would be looking instead for a Foresight Slash. The important thing for punishes on 4 legs is to deal as much head damage as possible. You should be aiming to hit Foresight and Round Slash on the head rather than going deep into the chest here. You would want to instead be positioned slightly farther away to maximize your punishes on the head hitbox instead. Again, this is a very bad Spear Helmbreaker opening, since it is dropping to all 4s manually. Only do this if you forced it to drop to all 4s. Okay, let me pause the video again. This position. This is where you want to be when Fatalis is on all 4s. Kiza recommends that you keep this position in mind at all times. Unfortunately, you panicked here, and it caused your final card. So, here's Kiza and my final thoughts on your attempt. We think that while it's fine you want to learn the fight while doing T-Wiki, it comes off immediately as a huge hurdle. Personally, I think it's a good idea to use the freestyle rule set to learn the fight, as the restrictions placed on T-Wiki is extremely tough, and it'll feel like you're immediately hitting a brick wall. Kiza also notes the lack of ISS despite the use of the Velkhana set, which is the main complement for the Frostcraft buff. With your current Spirit Helmbreaker only focused playstyle, you'll find better results using a 4-piece Fatalis with Velkhana Greaves. Aside from that, your build looks fine and looks very standard for a Frostcraft Longsword T-Wiki set. If you want to continue using your current set, I recommend putting a greater emphasis on positioning, punishing with ISS, and understanding your cleaner follow-ups. For all the viewers out there, if you like the coaching video, feel free to let me know in the comments below if the video helped you out. If you want to see your run broken down, don't be afraid to shoot me an email. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.